Today's episode is for every basketball parent and or athlete who's dealing with confidence issues, pressure, performance anxiety. This episode is going to help you understand what your athlete is feeling mentally and how you can best support them without adding stress to it. Oh, this is going to be, I feel it in my spirit that this episode is going to be it. Who needs you?
All of them.
All of them.
All
You know
of
how we
'em.
say both of them? All of them.
It's just like, ooh, sometimes y'all can be a little narcissistic.
I would say a lot of people don't think that high-level athletes have confidence issues, and they do.
So I help high performers, coaches, and teams reach their highest level of potential.
I got the training I gotta pay for. You done told me that you need now y'all telling me I need a mental performance coach?
Yeah. Sorry, guys. You need it. Not sorry.
Welcome to It's Just Different podcast, where we bring on people who have been where you're trying to go and or have helped countless athletes get there. And today, our guest is Shaitece Trigg, a sports psychology specialist with over 8 years of experience working with athletes at every level. Listen, I'm going to need y'all to stay to the end because my girl got 3 tips for you. Yes, you parents, that's going to help you navigate and help your athletes' mental game the right way. Shaitece, what is up?
What's good, girl?
How you feeling?
I am feeling really good. I'm here. I'm present. So I'm just blessed to be here to chit chat with you so we can help these people out.
Absolutely. Listen, we connected. I think I was already following you though. I don't know, but we really connected at Way to Boss. First of all, shout out to Ash. Shout out to Ashley Frazier, SYA Hoops. I think that's what it is on Instagram, who's killing the game right now. She had a camp. And I'm going to be honest, I told her that it probably was one of the best camps I've been to because it was first of all, it was all females. You know, I love me a good
1,000.
I love that. But from the production of it, from the on-court, from the different tests they did, from the workshops, from the player panel, like it was like so much. And I'm so big on like life and basketball. And I feel like that camp really embodied that. And it really gave like information to parents. At the end of the day, this wasn't no just drop off and leave or just stay in the gym and just watch them hoop. Like, nah, y'all finna get some of this information.
Absolutely.
Y'all finna get educated. And I thought that you did when I heard you talk, I was like, I gotta get her on the podcast. Like, I thought that you gave a lot of great information. We start this podcast off. It was different. I think the game is different, whether good or bad. What do you think is different as it relates to, I don't know if I want to go athletes or parents. Athletes. What do you think is different as it relates to athletes' mentality now versus back then?
One thing that I see is very different, and this would be, I guess you can say, on the not so favorable end, would be the entitlement is at an all-time high with athletes. The work ethic has dwindled down a little bit, due to the entitlement. But I think that entitlement is also influenced by parents as well. And also some of the coaches that are in these coaching positions nowadays, which we don't know everyone's background. But one of the examples I will give from a personal experience, I train a lot of volleyball players. And in the club volleyball industry, I have witnessed, certain coaches and, their style, their quality of coaching, rather. And at times I wonder if these coaches are the athletes from back in the day that didn't get playing time or that couldn't handle or that couldn't handle the pressures or the requirements of the game that was imposed. So now that they're in these positions, it's like, well, I'm going to coach my way to really fulfill their own feelings of the past.
Absolutely.
And it can be a disservice to athletes. So that does open up the entitlement for certain athletes. And then when they go to another coach that has really that old style traditional coaching, it's like, oh my gosh, well, I deserve to be here. I should be here because I'm this, I'm that, or my reputations, or, things like that.
Yep.
So I see that entitlement going crazy.
And shoot, volleyball, basketball, soccer, they all the same. So it goes the same way with basketball, where I feel like like they are entitled, and I do think it's like a mix of stuff. Like you said, like coaches, there are a lot of coaches that they didn't make it. They didn't do what they, so it's like at the end of the day, they living through the kids. Whether they realize it or not, like they living through the kids, and we go the same way with these parents.
Yep, that's what I said. That's why I said parents first.
It's the same thing. And it's like I was just talking to somebody the other day, who's been in the game for a while, have coached like multiple McDonald All-Americans, multiple athletes that's in the league. And we were talking about Texas, right? And how like Texas used to be like all the top players. Like I think right now, top 25 list came out, and just a handful, maybe 2 or 3, I can't remember. So y'all don't quote me on this, but it was not a lot. I would say that it was not a lot of kids ranked in the top 25. And I think that's because of the entitlement. Like when I was playing, like even a few years after me, we didn't jump around from team to team. Right. And I'm not even saying it's just a terrible thing. Right. I believe that you got to find your right fit. But at the same time, it does go into the entitlement where if one thing goes wrong, what you doing? Going to another team.
And that's why I was going to say too, like, what is right fit? Like, how do athletes define that?
Yeah.
Right fit to where it's going to be a little easier. This is the path of least resistance, or right fit because no, this is really going to develop me.
Yeah.
And I may have to withstand some challenges that I may not like, but at the end of the day, I see the bigger picture.
Right. Real quick, if you are a basketball parent listening, I need to make sure you know about the different community. Every month, I drop a new resource. We do parent Q&As, and I help you navigate the basketball journey without wasting time, money, and energy. Listen, if you want clarity instead of confusion and real support along the way, come on over and join us. It's free for 7 days. The link is in the description, and I'll see you on the other side.
You know, so
And I think right fit is based off of the family and the kids. What's your situation? Like what I also think a lot of people get confused on, like some kids might not want to play at the D1 level. Some people might want to be on a team where they are the best player. Okay, if that's what you want, go do that. Some want to be where they want to be challenged at the highest level. Well, if you do that, you might not be scoring all the points. So you have to really understand, when I say right fit, like y'all, you got to have those conversations, right? And not, to me, that's where the hopping around comes from, because we don't try to figure out the right fit. We listen to, oh, Shaitece told me I'm going to do this, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get this, and not look at the whole picture, right? So it's just like, I think all of that goes into the entitlement, the jumping around. Like people think that you're supposed to get them something and you ain't owe nothing.
Yeah, and it's the, being realistic too, right? So even if you try to sort out all these factors that even make sense, okay, this is the right fit.
Yeah.
You still have to be realistic about the unknown.
Yep.
That sometimes may come in the way of what your perception of the right fit would be.
Yep.
Right? So even that is still like, I still have to enter into this process that may seem like the right fit, right? They check off all our boxes, but also being prepared for the unknown.
Yeah.
And that unknown process is where you do see, I don't like to use the word cop out, but you know what? That's what I'm going to use. You kind of see a little cop out, or, oh, I need to shift. I need to move somewhere else because it's not exactly how I, imagined it to be.
Yep.
So.
That's good. That's good. Sports psychology specialist. Y'all, this is going to be, I feel it in my spirit that this episode is going to be it. But sports psychology specialist, talk to me. What is it? What exactly do you do?
So I help high performers, coaches, and teams reach their highest level of potential. So we use different type of therapeutic practices pulled from the field of sports psychology. And I'm on the applied track. So that's application, right? Everything that we learn, that we teach you, it's to be applied in order to reach your desired outcomes or to reach your goals. So within psychology, there's different types of psychology. Like you have different type of therapies rather. Like you can go problem solution therapy, you have reality therapy, you have cognitive behavioral therapy. So, and that's just to name the few, but you use different practices, different strategies and tools, depending on what the athlete, is struggling with or whatever areas they're trying to facilitate. So you pull from those therapies, create systems, create strategies that can help them, overcome any issue that they're dealing with.
So let's go a little deeper into that. Like, if I'm a parent, how do I know which one my athlete needs? Like, what are the tools? What are the strategies? What does that look like?
So it's good to always seek out, your therapist or your sports psychology specialist. Because honestly, the parents aren't going to know until you sit down and talk to someone in the field like myself.
Yeah.
So in order to find one, you have to do your due diligence on research. Because honestly, sports psychology has been such a hidden field and it's been overlooked that parents are not aware that this is even a service or even where to go to. So Google is always going to be the number one key. But once you find, that sports psychology specialist, you have your consultation just like you would do with any other, business provider. For me, my process is you have the consultation. We sit up here and we talk about, okay, what's the needs? What's the goals? And just from interacting with them, I kind of have an idea of maybe some solutions that would help. And then from there, our next step is, they sign on with me as a client and then we go through, the rapport process. What does this look like? How long have you been going through this situation? Building up, just everything that's happened from their past and then integrating a system that works for them. And, my system, we go off of real time, real progress. It's not one of those, systems I lay out like, okay, week 1 is this, week 2 is this, week 3 is this. It's like, no, as we're building and I see you progressing with all the other things that may come into play, we're going to recognize them, we're going to deal with them, and then we're going to implement, the right tools as necessary. As far as what the parents would need to help out with that all just depends on what I gather.
Yeah.
Because that's the reason why the parents and the athlete come to me as well, is because I have a certain level of expertise that the parents may not have.
Absolutely.
But all in all, we can always, work together and I'm able to, give the parents some tools and strategies that they can use, outside of, I guess, our relationship.
Right.
Ooh, excuse me.
Shaitece, what type of athletes need your services? Who needs you?
All of them.
All of them. You know how we say both of them? All of them.
No, and I'm serious. You're never too good not to have a mental performance coach, sports psychologist.
Yeah.
I tell athletes and parents, never be too egotistical about your development. Like no one could ever be too egotistical about their development. I mean, if you see the top pro athletes in the world having sports psychologists, having mental performance coaches, then I mean, like, who are you not to?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or what parent are you to not think that your child needs it?
Yeah.
Because it's a tool that's going to always elevate you. And in the sports world, we know sports are unpredictable. Even when we get on that court, it's unpredictable from how the refs are going to, behave, how the coaches are, how your teammates are, or even
how
the
you
opponents,
gonna play.
how you going to play is unpredictable, right? So in an industry where unpredictability is a constant, you constantly need mental performance, and sports psychology consulting. So
now I know what these parents are thinking. Lord, I got the AAU I got to pay for. I got the training I got to pay for. You done told me that you need nutrition. Now y'all telling me I need a mental performance coach?
Yeah. Sorry, guys. You need it. Not sorry. And that goes with just like time management, financial management.
Yeah.
Right. One thing I tell parents, because I do get this a lot as, providers, I understand the financial hardships, but also we have to be realistic that as parents, we have signed up for this, right?
Yeah.
You do want your kids to have the best. And you have to vet out which sports psychologist, which mental performance consultant, is affordable, and not just affordable, because you want quality.
Yeah.
Right. You don't want to be in one of those positions, you get what you paid for, and you're only paying however many dollars, So it's one of those things you do have to save. You got to save to invest.
Yep.
And that's just with anything in life, anything that you want for yourself, for your kids, you have to save to invest. And sometimes it may take you a little while to save a certain amount, depending on who you want.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But just know that it's needed. and it can be done.
Yeah.
So
No, I love that. Shift. I'm reading your shirt.
yes.
Is that the name of your business?
Yes, Shift Performance. And
Mhm.
SHIFT stands for Securing Happiness in Fulfilling Transition.
I
Mm.
like it. What made you come up with Shift?
So it was during my master's program,
Mhm.
sport and performance psychology program. And I think it was around my last year. It was my last year of the program. And I think we were heading into our last semester. So we're
Yeah.
about to graduate.
Yeah.
And I had finally figured out how I wanted to incorporate sports psychology because I was already a sport performance trainer. So I was training athletes on the physical side of
Okay, so
things.
you was a trainer at first.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So when I went and got my degree, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna kill two birds with one stone because you can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
I was a former athlete, and I understood the mental struggles, in that, and some struggles I wasn't even aware of because they were just naturally suppressed by back in the day how people, how the coaches and stuff were. So some stuff you might not have even been real. You didn't even realize, excuse me, what the mental and emotional struggles was until I got into this field. I'm like, oh, that's what that was. Makes sense. So I'm in, my apartment and I'm like, I want to own my own business. I don't want to work for anyone.
Yeah.
So I'm writing it down, making it plain.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Writing the vision down. And so I came up with Shift because I was trying to figure out what would it be called? Like it's so many different things. And then it's just like God spoke to me, Shift. Look at how many shifts you made even going into this program. Because I'm from small town West Virginia.
Okay.
And so
how long you been here?
8 years.
Okay.
Yep. So that's when when it started.
You.
So just shifting and going through transitions and things like that. I'm like, in every transition, in every phase that anyone goes through, you do have the opportunity to fulfill happiness within that transition. You have the opportunity to find a gratitude and, to make it your best that you can. And so I was just acronyms. I'm like, oh, boom. And it lined up. I said, bingo. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Shift. You always got to make a shift.
Always.
You always got to make a shift. One of the things, I hope y'all can't hear my stomach growling. Cause it's just growling over here.
I can't hear it.
Cause it's just that's all I can. Okay. Anyways, one of the things that I see. So before I started the podcast, that my earring fell out. Before I started the podcast, I was an AAU coach. I had a program called Competitive Edge. I was training. I was doing a lot of things like on the court. And from doing that, even now, like just from watching athletes, the one thing that I see a lot is athletes can train, like we call them drill warriors. Like they look real good in training. But when they get in the game, it's like I'll hear parents tell me it's like they got a mental block or they got this or they got that. Like, can you just talk about that? Why do you feel it's different from like a kid, an athlete being in the gym training, they going against live bodies, they're doing it at game speed, they're putting in the reps, but when they get in that game, it's like they like handicapped and it's like they just can't do it.
Yeah, we call that performance paralysis.
Performance paralysis.
Yes, performance paralysis, where like they freeze up, they hesitate, they're not able to deliver how they would in practice or maybe even sometimes a scrimmage, right? So I would say it's the demand that the athlete puts on themselves. It's also the way that they interpret practice versus a game. Yeah. It's all about the way that an athlete defines a practice, defines a game. What meaning do they make out of it? And at times, if you ask an athlete that, their meanings can be drastically different. The emphasis that they put on practice versus a game are drastically different. Yeah. So when you see those differences that are on opposite ends of the spectrum, or at least have a wide gap, right? Then of course they're going to show up different. Because if this is what practice means to me, then I'm going to show up this way. But if this is what games and competition means to me, then I'm going to show up this way, So as a sports psychology specialist, it's all about trying to rewire that. Yeah. And redefine what competition means versus practice. Because the same things happen in practice and games. Right. Especially when you're going live. even in a scrimmage.
Yeah.
You know, so it's always good to understand, like, what does the athlete interpret this as? What does this mean to them? And why is the intensity or the demands just so drastically different?
Yeah.
You know,
besides hiring you and booking you, how can parents help their athletes with this when they see their athletes kind of going through some of this and they don't know? It's just like, dang, she's different.
Well, there's always sources out there.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of YouTube and podcasts. Please be mindful who you listen to with a mic. Okay.
That's a fact. Everybody and their mama got a mic.
Yes. And to be honest, parents, I can't even tell you what podcasters to listen to because I don't listen to them, so but I will say though, you do got your YouTube, you do got podcasters, and then you do have a lot of resources out there, books. Yeah. I have my own book.
What's the book? What's the book? Talk about it.
It talks about how to help athletes obtain high functionality during performance.
Yeah. And you had the book. You ain't got the book?
Well, it's an ebook.
Oh, even better.
It is an ebook. But that deals with the performance paralysis, the anxiety, that gets athletes in a struggle between flight and fight, and things like that. One of my other favorite books is Emotional Agility by Carol S. Dweck. And then, I cannot think. I'm having a brain fart right now. But if it comes back to me, there's one book that I really abide by.
Okay. I'm going to have to make sure to get the link so I can put it in the description of this episode.
So that way if I forget, then I can just...
Yep. Or even your ebook.
Oh, mine. Yes.
Your ebook.
I want to get mine.
Yeah.
Because it's interactive. It's interactive. You're not just reading. It's interactive. It has videos of me actually speaking and teaching. So that way you have an elaborative context of what you just read. And then there's worksheets and all types of things like that can actually help you, that you can apply. So that way you don't feel like, oh, I'm just reading this and then you're sitting it down.
Yeah. How much is the ebook?
$13.99.
$13. So, okay, y'all. I'm about to put Shaitece on the spot right now.
Matter of fact, no, it's $12.99.
Now, it's $12.99. I know y'all got that, but Shaitece, can the podcast family get some type of little small, because it's $12.99, y'all. I don't know how much we can get off of that now. Can the podcast family get some type of discount?
Y'all can. So if you use the code FAP10, gives you 10% off.
There you go. FAP10. You get 10% off. Y'all need to make sure y'all cop that. Shaitece, what are some of the areas you pretty much, and you kind of already done talked about it, but what are some of the areas you specialize in for maximum performance?
Yeah, so areas, do you want to know about the common areas that I see that I work out in athletes or that I facilitate in athletes? Yeah. So performance anxiety is one of the big ones.
We're going to stop right there. We're going to go, I want you to talk about it and we're going to actually break them down.
Okay.
Because I feel like, obviously if I'm hearing performance anxiety, to me, it's like, okay, I get anxiety when I perform. But we're going to break it down to these parents and athletes that's listening so they understand what you're saying and all of that. So when you say performance anxiety, talk about it.
So we can go off of what you were just mentioning, right? About when we talked about the performance paralysis.
Yep.
And when they get into a game, they freeze up.
Yep.
Right? So usually when anxiety occurs, it's when you may perceive something as a threat.
Yeah.
Or something that creates worry. And you don't have as much confidence or self-belief in yourself to overcome or to withstand that threat.
Yep.
But it all comes down to your perception, because no one perceives it as a threat but you, right? So athletes have control over this anxiety. They have control over it because they're the ones that created it.
Yep.
So even if a coach was to tell them something, or their parents or their teammates tell them something that may trigger some worry, they still have the power and control to either accept that or reject it. So that's what I teach athletes is, hey, whatever you may see as a threat, whatever you may believe is a threat, doesn't mean that it necessarily is. So you have the power to either accept it or reject it.
Yeah.
If you accept it as a threat, then you buy into that.
Yeah.
And then at times that can get you emotionally roused up or, scared, nervous. But then if you reject it, right, sometimes you get motivation like, no, that's not true. And then you muster up that strength, you muster up that confidence, you give yourself reasons as to why it's not true and why you're going to stand on business to make sure that it doesn't become true.
Fact.
You know what I'm saying? So that acceptance and rejection of what you perceive is really what's going to help you in your performance response, whether you're going to fold, play it safe, or hesitate, or you're going to battle. You know what I'm saying? You're going to give that effort.
Yeah. So we got performance anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
Another big one that I see is parents. Actually, I'm gonna save that one. I'm gonna save that one for one of the next one.
We're gonna save y'all in just a minute. We coming to y'all parents in just a minute.
Confidence.
Yeah. Oh, big.
Confidence is really big, which most athletes who suffer from confidence issues, performance anxiety seems to be one of the factors that play into that.
All right. You are about halfway through this episode. Hold on. Let me get a little closer. I need you to do me a favor. I need you to hit the subscribe button. And while you at it, hit the like button. I know I'm asking for a lot. Go ahead and share this with 2 other parents that need to hear this information. Because I'm here to help y'all, and I need y'all to help me so that I can get this information out to more people. Now back to the episode. Confidence. Oh, man, that's a big one because I see it a lot. And you know what's crazy? A lot of people think that how do I want to say it? I guess kids that may not be, I don't want to say that good. That's not the word I'm looking for. I would say a lot of people don't think that high level athletes have confidence issues. And they do.
If not the most.
They do. Why do you think that? Like athletes, kids, whoever that's like really good at their craft, they know what they doing, struggle with confidence.
At times it's this term called self-imposture.
I love all the terms, y'all.
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Which at times you don't either believe that you're good enough to be there or that you deserve to be there. So even though you could be really good balling out, hooping, there's something within you that feels like you don't deserve to be there. Because your performance may not be good enough or whatever the case may be. So you do see imposter syndrome from a lot of people, especially that are in these high elite levels of play.
Yeah.
And then I would say another thing is some people can't handle the fan base, the audience.
Yeah, I was going to say,
do
you think the stress and like the pressure and like everything that comes with having to perform, being an elite athlete affects them?
Absolutely. And especially if you're an athlete that's type A perfectionist, right? So you have type A and type B. So type A perfectionist athletes, they probably suffer the most when it comes to confidence.
Yeah.
Or really not believing in themselves or believing that they're that good because they don't give themselves room or grace for error. And they want everything to be so perfect that they overlook the process or progress that they've already obtained.
Yeah.
Right? So they overlook that because these high expectations, and sometimes these high expectations aren't realistic.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can aim so high, and it's not the fact that you won't get there, but there's just a huge gap from where you're at right now and then where you aim to be. And they just look at that, where I'm at and where I want to get. And as they're progressing, they're not giving themselves credit. Or even when they make mistakes, they're not looking at it as a learning curve.
Yeah.
They're looking at it as failure.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, this is a mistake. I failed. I suck. Oh, I'm not good enough. It has to be this perfect.
Yep.
And it's just like, I see why your confidence is low. Because you're not even, it's called self-confidence for a reason.
Yep.
Right? So if you're not building your own self up, then I mean, the opposite of that would be you're breaking yourself down.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. Performance anxiety, confidence.
You give me one that you see, and then let's talk about it.
Well, see, mine would have been confidence. But I would say parent expectations. Like, I think that's big. A lot of parents try to push, like, and I don't know, like, I get, like, wanting your athlete to be good, wanting them to be the best version of themselves, but I really do feel like, and you could probably talk to it more than me, but I really do feel like a lot of parents don't realize that they really push themselves on their athletes. A lot of these athletes don't even, like I said, want it as much as the parents want it. And it causes a divide. And then to me, it goes to the performance anxiety that you talked about. It goes to the confidence that you talked about. Like, everything plays into one because now the kids feel like they got to live up to something that they don't even really want.
I'm so glad you hit on that, because this would have went into my next thing that I, work on, is identity. It causes identity issues
Yes.
too. So if the parents is wanting this for their child, and they're pretty much pressuring them and telling them, hey, you got to be this, you got to do this. And sometimes, like, because when I was, da 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 da, right? And so then where the identity issue comes in is because the child then hasn't even gotten the space and opportunity to have a purpose for themselves or a vision for themselves. And at times when you don't have those two things, it is hard to build a healthy, secure identity within yourself, because you're really operating off of low key the parent's identity and the parent's purpose and vision, for the athlete, so parents need to understand that, hey, this is your child's life, right? This is their athletic life. And it's really good to understand, what do they really want?
Yeah.
Because there's some athletes that can be like, man, I really don't even want to play anymore, but I'm doing this for my mom. I'm doing this for my dad. I'm doing this for someone else. And they leave themselves out of it. And then when I ask them, well, who are you? Well, they don't know, because the only thing that they know themselves to be is what has been projected onto them. And so it's like, dang.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of that, like, how do you help athletes understand that they more than an athlete? Like, their identity, like, even when you say, who are you? Most times it's, oh, I'm a basketball player, I'm a volleyball player. But that's not who you are. That's what you do.
And so I have this drill, like, who are you? And if they say I'm an athlete, or if they talk about, their position in their sport, I'm like, no, you can't say that. You can't say that. Anything but that. And they're froze for a little while, because they're really trying to figure out, oh,
that's crazy.
Who am I? So I tell them, I was like, let's talk about some other roles that you have. Just default by you being here in this world. What role do you have? Some people have sisters or brothers, so I'm a sibling. We start there. Like, I'm a student. And then we go into, like, okay, well, what are some things that you love? What are some qualities and characteristics about yourself? Oh, I'm someone who loves to help other people. I'm someone who likes the outdoors, or, so we start, really pulling all these things that are outside of athletics, and then we're able to, create, an identity or a purpose statement around that. And they're like, oh man, I'm so many other things. And I was like, yeah, next time someone asks you who you are, I want you to tell them about your morals, your values, your characteristics, or even some things that you really love to do to serve others, or even to serve yourself, that's outside of athletics. So
no, that's good. I want to get to these parents. So when I interview like athletes or even coaches, I always ask about parents. Like, what advice would you give to parents as they help navigate their athlete's journey? I feel like parents are always in that, like, either they too involved or they not involved enough. Can you just talk about, like, the balance of that, like how parents should be while they navigating their athlete's journey?
Yes. So you are the overseer, right? Because parents, I know your job is to protect your children. But also there has to be some recognition for the people that you have entrusted, your child's safety into, for example, the coaches, the trainers, or the mental performance coaches. So you can be an overseer without micromanaging to where you start becoming everyone that you've paid for your child. So if you're a parent, then you end up you become the coach, or you become the trainer, or you become the mental performance specialist. Then what was the point of even investing your money, in these other resources? So it's good to, one, look at yourself and where you stand as a parent, again, to be an overseer and to be supportive, but also you're not trying to embody all of these other roles, coach, athletic trainer, whatever the case may be, as well. And then I said, most importantly too, is ask your child, how they want you to be involved inside their athletic and sports world.
That's the one.
You have to have a listening ear. You have to give your child a voice within their own life.
Yeah.
Again, you do have an authoritative figure, right? But at times, whether parents know it or not, and whether it's intentional or unintentional, they can abuse their authority.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the parent, so this. I'm the mama.
Yeah.
So, X, Y, and Z, well, I'm the daddy. I pay for this.
You do what I say.
I pay for that.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, they didn't ask to be here. You know what I'm saying? Like, they did not ask to be here. Like, as a parent, it is your responsibility to
That's what you're supposed to do.
What you're supposed to do. But give your athletes a voice. Be inquisitive. A lot of parents, y'all, are not inquisitive, but you're authoritative.
Yeah.
You don't ask. Mm-hmm. You don't really try to listen and try to understand.
But you know what's crazy is, and you just said it, but I feel like parents don't feel like that they need to ask. They don't think they need to ask their kids. This is what I said, and this is what you gonna do. And it's just like.
And you know what's crazy about that? And I know some people may get a little upset about it. But what I just kind of aligned it to or correlated to in a way is, especially because we are Black, I think about slavery, right? And slave masters. Yeah. And the way that they abused their authority. Yeah. And how they didn't look at Black people or their slaves as human beings. Right. They didn't look at them as someone who deserved to voice their opinion or to express their feelings just because of, I'm your slave master. Yeah. You work for me. You do this, you do that. And I'm not saying that parents go that severely into it, but it does resonate because you do look at your child as someone, even though they're a human being, but you look at them as, okay, this is a human being that they're not allowed to express themselves to me because of who I am. You're not allowed to have a voice. You're not allowed to question, me. But it's just like, this is their sports world, like, just like if any parent, if they go to yoga and Pilates or whatever the case may be, that's their time, their world to, experience the feel good emotions or whatever the case may be. And it's like, just imagine someone telling you how to operate within this space that you've created for yourself. Right. And it's just like, parents need to look at it like that. Yeah. And stop having a superior complex all the time, because there's an unhealthy version of that, which is what we're talking about. I'm superior, so X, Y, and Z. It's just like, ooh, sometimes y'all can be a little narcissistic. I mean, we talk about it. That's the first tip. Yeah. Check your narcissism. Yeah. And you may not know. That's the thing, parents. You may not be aware of how deep it can be. Yeah. So.
No, that's good. What do you feel is the healthiest way parents should talk today or have the conversations with their athletes after the game?
Ooh. So here's a couple tips on that. Well, I would say the conversation would take place probably even before games. Yeah. Hey, how would you like for me to communicate with you or interact with you after a game? What does that look like when you lose? What does it look like when you win, but you didn't have a good performance yourself? What does it look like when you do win and you had a good performance? Right? Like, you can break that down. They're going to tell you exactly. Yeah. Well, hopefully they're not scared by this point. But they're going to tell you like, hey, whenever our team loses and, I didn't have a good game, I just need time to process and decompress myself. Yeah. Right? I don't really need any insight or any criticism, because the athlete has criticized themselves. We're our own worst critics. They probably have heard it from their coach. And, your athletes, your teammates going to get on you, right. Too. So that's the question that needs to be asked before games are even in play is, hey, after games, how would you like me to respond and interact with you? Then So that's the opening conversation right there. Again, be inquisitive.
Yep. And ask questions. That's going to be like, that's my main takeaway is to ask questions.
Ask questions, y'all.
Listen. First of all, I knew this episode was gonna be good. I knew it. I knew it. For y'all to watch every episode, if you have not noticed, I'm back here. I've been on the podcast tour. We've been from school to school, and it just feels good to be back. If y'all miss this studio, just say, I miss it. Put it in the comments. I need to see some comments. I need y'all to say, I miss it in the comments. Shaitece.
Yes, ma'am.
We're going to go 3 different levels. I did this and it was actually good.
Okay.
We're going to talk 6th grade and below.
Okay.
middle school, so 7th, 8th, I would say
Mm-hmm.
that, and high school. We got some advice. We got 3 of those.
Okay.
We're going to start with the 6th grade and below. It's a parent who has, like I said, 6th grade and below athlete who's just struggling. Like,
Mm-hmm.
don't even know if she want to play sports, or she does. She want to play sports and just kind of struggling with it, not really playing the best up to the parents' expectations, and just trying to figure it all out. Got friends that's also playing sports, want to be as good as they are.
Mm-hmm.
That parent needs some advice to help her daughter. Can you look in that camera and give some advice?
Yes. So for my parents, 6th grade and below, one, understand that your child is in an explorative phase. They are learning, they are exploring, they are discovering everything within, this sports dynamic, from the relationship with their coaches to their teammates. One moment they may love this sport, the next moment they want to try something else, right? They're exploring. So I wouldn't put too much pressure on your child slash athlete as far as expectations and, the level that they need to be on, or even pressuring them like, you need to figure out what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Either you want to stick with this or stick with that. They don't know. You didn't know either. Like there's even some things now as a grown adult, just within the parent realm of things, you're still figuring out, because as your child ages, you're also having to adjust, your parental style and things as such, right? So give them that same grace as they're going through this discovery within their sports realm.
That's good. We're going middle school. Now we done amped it up a little bit. They competing. They probably compete nationally. They now they done got into real socializing. They got a girlfriend, or I'm talking about girls or boys, y'all. We got a girlfriend or a little boyfriend. We got something going on, and at this stage, my parents can't tell me nothing.
This is 7th and 8th, right?
Yes, that parent needs some advice to get their athlete together.
Man, I can't tell my parents. Ooh, I'm trying to go back to when I was, that age, and seeing how just how my mom was.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was pretty dope. I was a dope kid though. I would say again, they're growing. They're still discovering, themselves. So you do allow a little bit more grace, but I would say this is where you can definitely create some boundaries and help your child, with what does your future look like? And when I say future, only go high school. That would be the next level of future that we're talking about. See where they see themselves within the next 2 years, which would put them in their freshman or sophomore year. See what they're passionate about, what they love about the sport. Just try to really get their IQ of their sport and, their love and passion. And then once you accumulate that information, then you can lay down some realistic, healthy guidelines that can help them, navigate the course within their sports realm.
That's good. I like it. Last one. We got our high schoolers. Now we got wanting to get the offers, wanting to get interest, probably have some offers. Just have that performance anxiety, wanting to perform in front of these college coaches, thinking that they have to play every game. Every game has to be a good game.
Yeah.
Their parents thinking every game has to be a good game. If you got a bad game, the world is about to end. They need some advice to help their athletes.
Yes. So parents, I would say for you all, you dealing with high school, athletes, maybe they're already clear on their vision. And honestly, some are not. Like I work with athletes to this day that are high school athletes that are not sure if they want to play in college or even, pros. So you can still start there. Kind of like the same thing that you would deal with like for 7th and 8th graders, that can still be existent when you're working with your high school athletes. The best thing to do is, because you're a parent and you already have so many things on your plate, is to seek outside help. This would be the perfect time for high school students. As for me, I work with as young as 10, but when I reflect back on my athlete journey, I would say, man, I wish I would have had someone like me my 9th grade year. Because 9th grade year, just even getting adjusted and acclimated
Yeah.
acclimated to even like the social aspect of things. This will be a good time to seek out outsource help.
Yeah.
So, you're not doing it on your own. And you get experts, in this field to help. So that would be probably my number one thing is definitely seek some outside help now that you're aware of it now, for sure. And then, just do your best to be more encouraging and supportive. Be their biggest fan and not their biggest critic, even if you played the same sport as them when you were younger. Understand that this timeline is different. You have social media, you have NIL deals. It's so much that even if you did play the same sport, because of the timeline difference that you just honestly don't understand. This is a new time and a new age. And so you can't always come from, well, I done been there before. Like, no, you haven't.
Because you haven't. You haven't.
No, you have not. So continue to be inquisitive. Continue to check up on them, making sure that they still love what they do, that they have actually goals, right? Help them set some goals, depending on what their future looks like for them, and then get that extra help.
Yeah.
Get that extra help.
I love it. This has been good. Shaitece, tell the people where they can find you. Leave your socials, etc. Just tell them where they can find you.
Yes, you guys can find me on Instagram at shiftperformance_. You can also find me on TikTok at shiftperformance.mpt. And then I have a website, shiftperformance.live, where you can find me. So yeah, go check out those handles. Y'all.
Yes, and I will be sure to put it in the description. Y'all, I enjoyed. Now I need y'all in just a minute. My girl got 3 tips for y'all. She didn't get y'all tips all episode, but we got 3 tips for y'all in just a minute. Listen, I want to read your takeaways. Put some of your takeaways in the chat. Hit this like button. Subscribe to the channel. We are on a goal to 5,000 subscribers. 5,000 subscribers, and I need your help. Share this out with 2 other parents who need it. You already know what I'm gonna say. If you ain't following the page on Instagram, I don't know what you're doing. Follow the page. It's just different pod.
Thank you guys for watching and having me. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. So I do have 3 tips for parents to help you all out with your athlete's mental game. The first thing for my parents is, again, be your child's biggest supporter over being their biggest critic. And you can do that by, again, being inquisitive. Ask them about their sports world. Make them feel included. The second tip would be to understand the difference between athlete identity and child identity. Child identity, this is who you know them as a child, their personal identity, but really get to understand who they are as an athlete, because it can be different. The third one would be, of course, seek outside help. Do not be fearful or hesitant to get them a mental performance coach, because that also makes your job easier as a parent, because you and the mental performance coach, you guys are in this together. They will be a part of your village, and y'all can collaborate on a lot of things that can not only further support the athlete, but again, further support you in your parental support.
Before we close it out, if you are a basketball parent and you want something today, I put together the Ultimate Basketball Parent Toolkit. It's 10 ready-to-use resources to help you avoid the biggest mistakes parents make during the season. Stop stressing yourself out and hit the link in the description.